I'm Debbie Pepperell, and you're listening to the weekly tip from basicboardgovernance.ca. This month, I am continuing to give tips based on boards avoiding this kind of problem that the Hockey Canada board has gotten themselves into. So this particular tip is about your fiduciary duty. If you're not familiar with your fiduciary duty as a board member, this is your duty to spend funds in accordance with policy and legal agreements and with the best interests of the organization in mind. So, this last couple of months, we've had a lot of sports organization talk in the media, primarily around Hockey Canada, but also Gymnastics Canada and Water Polo have recently all had lawsuits filed against them. So, it's not just Hockey Canada, but they have the highest profile. And what came out in the news about what has gone on with the Hockey Canada board is that they authorized payouts to alleged victims of alleged sexual assaults without an investigation, without really total transparency about what they were doing. So the questions that are raised, in my mind at least, is, if money was used for that purposes, was it raised for those purposes? Were any funders or anyone who pays money to Hockey Canada for services made aware that some of what they did with this money was to create a fund that would be used to pay alleged victims? Was the purpose of that fund put in place to make sure that no potential issues with hockey players were ever brought to light? When we prepare financial statements and there's funds in that financial statement, we have to disclose the purpose of that fund. Is it possible there was a fund, the sole purpose was to pay sexual assault victims? So the question around the fiduciary duty, back to that, is, was the payment made in the best interest of the organization? So did the board decide that the best interest of the organization was to make sure that these complaints against hockey players never saw the light of day? If so, then they were in fact satisfying their fiduciary duty if they were doing what they thought was best for the organization. What we do know, and what is the tip for this particular week, is to make sure that what you're doing meets the reasonable person test. Does it seem reasonable that what you have done is using the funds of the organization in the best interest of the organization? And if you are, then you don't have to worry about it. However, it would appear that Hockey Canada's funders and supporters don't agree that they have used the money for the best purposes, and that's where the lesson lies.